Well, good morning. Welcome to Living Beyond Limits. You all know I'm Reverend Jennifer Spear. We are part of Centers for Spiritual Living. I welcome you here this morning, and for those of you who are joining us online, welcome to our holiday service. And so let's begin the service today by reading our mission statement that's on the front of your bulletin. We are a sanctuary where people can discover and reveal the presence of God within their own being and experience their oneness with all life. Through the realization of this inner presence of love and peace, we give way to the evolutionary impulse of the divine and become a beneficial presence in the world. So that's really what we're doing here at Living Beyond Limits, is we are creating this sanctuary where it is the safe space to do some inner exploration, to discover our own divine nature, our own spiritual essence, that within us, which is the divine expressing itself. And as we discover that within us and come to know that, what comes is the realization that wherever we are, the presence of Spirit is. Because Spirit is not just all around us and through everything, but Spirit is also within us, expressing as our own innate beingness. And what that means then is all of those qualities and characteristics of Spirit already live within us. The peace and the wholeness and the power and the magnificence and the creativity and the intelligence and the love. That we can't be separate from those qualities, that we came here incarnated on this planet with those already as a part of our beingness. And when we know that, and when we live in an awareness of that, then when we are out moving around in the world and the world is not being peaceful or loving or generous or whatever it is, we don't need that to be reflected to us in order to be able to give that and share that. So we can be a loving presence or a peaceful presence or stand in our own wholeness and our own power regardless of what's happening out there. And as we do that, we then become a beneficial presence in everything that we do, everywhere we go, in every conversation, in every interaction, because we come as that, capital that, to this world. And so I thank every single one of you for answering the call of your own soul to be walking this path of remembering, this path of bringing your spirit into this world, and of making a difference on this planet. I thank every one of you. Well, Merry Christmas, everybody, and welcome to our holiday service and our celebration of the light. I think it's really interesting that it is at this particular time of year that the light is celebrated throughout so many different cultures and so many different traditions. From the secular celebration of the light this time of year, seeing roof lines decorated in Christmas lights and all the new archways that you see on sidewalks that are illuminated with lights, from sparkly wrapping paper and ribbon to sparkly clothes this time of year. You know, we don't wear sparkly clothes in the summer. Did you ever notice that? It's just in the wintertime. And last week, you all know, was winter solstice, so pagans across the world were celebrating the return of the light. And it was actually, in ancient days, it was a celebration called the Day of the Birth of the Unconquerable Sun. So it's about the unconquerable light. And the people of the Jewish tradition last week celebrated Hanukkah and celebration of the miracle of the light of the menorah, and what happens when we act in faith, and what happens when we partner with the divine, that miracles, the miracle of light happens. To next week is the African American celebration of Kwanzaa. It starts on the 26th, and it is a celebration of the enduring light of the human spirit. It is about self-determination and authentic power. And then, as you know, tomorrow is Christmas, the day that Christians across the world celebrate the birth of Jesus, the Christed one, who was called the light of the world, or the bringer of the light. And so we, as metaphysicians, have a desire within us to personalize those stories and to make them meaningful to us, whether we determine ourselves to be Christians or not. We want those holidays and those stories and those things to be meaningful to us. And so as metaphysicians, we actually hold Jesus, the Christed one, as the great example and as the way shower. He, from his illumined realization that he and the presence of the Infinite One were inseparable, there was nowhere where Jesus the man ended and where the presence of God began. Out of that realization of oneness, he healed the sick, so the stories say. He fed the multitudes, and he performed miracles. Well, Ernest Holmes tells us that Christ is not a person, but Christ is a principle. Ernest Holmes says that Christ is God's idea of itself. God's idea of itself personified in human beings and expressed through human beings. Ernest Holmes also said God, the divine Father, never had but one Son. The Son is being born in every season, in every place, through all races and in all nations. Every birth is a divine event. Every conception is immaculate. Every child who is born into this world represents the Son of the eternal Father. So that Christ's principle resides within each and every single one of us. And every time we step out of our self-interest and step out of our self-involvement, and instead we express love or compassion or gentleness or forgiveness, every time we do that, we are expressing Christ consciousness. Every time that we are able to reside in peace and in harmony, when we come from equanimity, when the world is not reflecting that back to us, we are acting out of Christ consciousness. Anytime that we are aware of the fact that we are one with that infinite presence, inseparable, and that it lives in us, through us, as us, and that is the same truth of everybody else, every time we see that and feel that, we are living out of Christ consciousness. And anytime that we know that we are not limited by this world of form, this world of materiality that we live in, but instead that we live in a field of infinite potentiality, that is the nature of life, the nature of our life, the nature of who we are, that we live in the all good. When we live from that realization, we are living out of Christ consciousness. Rocco Errico, who is an interpreter of the Aramaic Bible, which was the language that Jesus spoke, Rocco Errico said, Jesus, the Christed one, came to awaken every human heart's potential and capacity to manifest the rich spiritual dimension of heaven on earth. The purpose of Christ in us then is not only for self-realization, but for the manifestation of the kingdom of heaven wherever we are. When we act out of and live from that Christ consciousness, we manifest heaven wherever we are. And isn't that exactly what the stories are of Jesus of Nazareth, expressing and bringing heaven to earth wherever he was? Wholeness and beauty and peace and oneness and love. And so the holidays then are, the way that I see them, they are a means for us to discover and to uncover the divine within us, to discover and uncover our own divine nature, the light within us. It is this time of year that we have the opportunity and the reminder to discover that within ourselves and to witness that in others and to give birth to that in this world. We do that this time of year through doing all of these traditions that we participate in. We bring that love into this world through our gift giving. We bring our hope and possibilities and openness into this world by singing the traditional Christmas songs that lift our hearts and bring us hope and make us feel joyful. We do that through those songs that remind us of possibility. We do that this time of year through attending spiritual rituals and services like this one, where we are reminded of the light all around us and the light within us. We do that this time of year by being with loved ones. And so rather than staying in the busyness, caught up in the busyness, and rather than having our focus on the exterior and external and surface holiday things, rather than focusing on the surface interpretations of these holidays, we are invited to leave the clamor of the city, just like Mary did, and to enter the quiet of the manger inside of our own hearts, inside of our own beingness, where we can experience the Christ within ourselves, the light within ourselves. Rajneesh, who is an Indian philosopher, mystic, and Buddhist, said, "There is something in you which always remains in its intrinsic nature, never changing. It remains in its self-same essence, eternally so. That nature which does not change in you is the Buddha mind, the Satori, the Christ consciousness." We have the opportunity to remind ourselves that it is in here and to give birth to it this time of year especially. And so today we recognize that Christ consciousness, and we recognize the light of the divine that is present in all people and in all things, in all spiritual traditions, in all places, at all times. And so today, in this service, we honor the light and we invite that light forward. And so we will begin our candlelighting service. O cosmic light, in this silence, take away the darkness of the ages. May we realize that Brahman, absolute reality, expresses itself in all that is, like a flame taking many shapes. I dedicate this light to Hinduism and Diwali, the festival of the lights, the triumph of the light of wisdom and intelligence over darkness, over wickedness, violence, injustice, greed, and oppression, the triumph of spirituality over materiality. We honor those who walk the path of Hinduism. Goddess, born from the struggle between good and evil, guide us toward the light. In a world where plenty is possible, let us end hunger, thirst, and homelessness. In your nurturing hands, let us seek refuge from want, fear, and violence. With your grace, let our world be reborn, where all needs are met, where morality and love are abundant. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
From the Compassion of the Dalai Lama. Compassion and love are not mere luxuries. As the source of both inner and external peace, they are fundamental to the continued survival of our species. We honor those who walk the path of Buddhism. I dedicate this light to celebrate Buddhism. Blessed by the power of Spirit's illumination, we understand the truth of those who follow the teachings of Buddha in their quest for peace.
solstice invites us to harmonize our bodies, minds, and spirits with the rhythm of the great Mother Earth and with nature herself. It is a time of rest, a time to stand still, a time to reacquaint ourselves with the faith in which we live and breathe. For then we can draw strength from the one in whom we are rooted. I dedicate this light to the winter solstice, the triumph of the light over the darkness. I honor indigenous people, those who walk the path of the Great Spirit. The winter solstice marks the turning of the sun, and with that, the promises, the return of the light, the warmth, and new beginnings.
I will follow the shepherd of peace, guided by the star of wisdom to the birth of Christ consciousness. The light of love and oneness illuminate the Christ, for Christ beheld, I and the Father are one. I honor those who walk the path of Jesus. Let your light so shine before others that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God.
With God, all things are possible. If you want to be more successful in your life, bring the power of the Almighty, infinite intelligence, and divine wisdom into your life. With God, it is possible to have self-confidence, to know that we are always guided and always in the right place at the right time. With God, it is possible to have enough money with some left over. With God, it is possible to forgive those who have trespassed against us. For the presence of God within us is stronger than any fear or limitation outside of us. I dedicate this light to celebrate Hanukkah, the triumph of light over the darkness, of spirituality over materiality, and I honor those who walk the path of Judaism. God grant me the awareness that I already have the courage to stand up and know that I am your arms and legs and voice and heart, no matter what the external conditions look like.
Today we honor Kwanzaa and celebrate the enduring spirit of human beings, and we celebrate African American people, their culture, and their history. We celebrate self-determinism, the ability to define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves. We create for ourselves taking dictation from the divine, rather than that from our past or from society. We speak for ourselves rather than remain silent, because we don't want to rock the boat or because it's easier. We celebrate Kwanzaa and honor our African American brothers and sisters. Express the perfect you, the light that you are. Today with spirit, you will co-create the rest. We walk taller, we speak more compassionately, we keep on going when the climb gets steeper, because we understand we are driven by the omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent power that is unlimited.
There is a thing inherent and natural which existed before heaven and earth. It stands alone and never changes. It infuses everything and never becomes exhausted. I do not know its name. I call it the Tao and name it supreme. We honor those who follow the Tao. The Tao follows its intrinsic nature, natural and effortless. Its essence is peace and light.
I am the all, from which all proceeds. With your mind and understanding fixed firmly upon me, you shall come to me. By whatever path you seek, you will find me. We respect and honor our sisters and brothers walking all spiritual paths. True spirit lies beyond the realm of the visible. In each, there is a spark, able to kindle new fires of peace and light and love. Today, we are reminded that within each of us resides the Christ, the Buddha, the Atman, the presence. We were born to be conscious, to know that our true nature is that of the divine within us, our perfect and whole self, which today we recognize in all life. We are one in spirit, one in the light. We celebrate our rich diversity and our one heart. For when we are home in the presence of spirit, we are home in our lives, we are home with each other, and we are home in the world. And so we recognize, yes, indeed, that light is all around us. The light of Christmas, the light of the divine, Buddha mind, Atman, the all in all, that one presence and power from which all things spring forth, that power and presence which is a power and presence of love and creativity, which is the very essence of life, its very fabric being the fabric of peace and of well-being, of harmony and of order, of wholeness, of power. Recognizing that that presence is always closer than our very breathing. It is the very essence of our spirit. It is that which we have come from, that which we come as, the light and the love and the magnificence of spirit. And so today we are reminded that that light is everywhere present. And so as we look out into our world, we see the light in others. We see the love and the beauty, the connection, the sharing, the giving, the caring, the generosity, all the activity of the divine. And so today we celebrate this light in us. We celebrate this light in all spiritual traditions. We celebrate this light in every person. And how good it is to be in recognition of this. And so I speak this word about every person in this entire world, knowing that that light of the divine, the allness of spirit, the allness, the wholeness, the goodness, the wisdom and intelligence and grace of God are omnipresent within and around every person on this planet. And of course, I speak this word for every world leader, every politician, every policymaker, every decision maker, any person that is in any form of leadership, that the presence of spirit, the Christ light, lives within them. And it is that Christ light, the cosmic Christ light, that today expresses itself within their hearts and their minds in a profound and powerful way, leading and guiding and beckoning them to also create heaven on earth. Unity, harmony, a place where needs are met, care and love are felt, where people are uplifted and supported to live their best life. And so I just recognize that spirit is having its way within and through each and every single one of us. And heaven on earth is the result. And so I release this prayer into that creative law of the universe, knowing that it is unfolding itself all around us. And as we look to the light, as we look for the light, it appears in its fullness. And so I release this prayer in gratitude, and I say, and so it is. And so I do have a couple of invitations for you. Next week is our World Peace Meditation service at 4 a.m. on Sunday morning. We are joining millions of people across the planet, praying, meditating, envisioning, sitting in, feeling peace, all at the same time. It is going to be on Zoom. The link and the number is on your insert sheet right there. Because we are doing a 4 a.m. service, we are not doing a 10 a.m. service again, so we will not be here next Sunday. And then the following Sunday, this venue was already rented, so we are doing service on Zoom at 10 o'clock. The same link, the same number, so we invite you to join us on Zoom that following week. We are still doing Community InReach for Ray and Marty Bunch. If you would like to sign up for Meal Train, you are invited to do that. I hate to tell you this, but our vision board workshop is not going to happen because the venue was already booked where we're going to have it. And I have jury duty possibility all week long, so I don't dare do it another weekday and not be able to be there. So that's going to be postponed. Our Sunday talks are available online. We have prayer support after service. We invite you to follow us on our social media accounts. And that's it. And so I invite you to repeat after me. The love and light of Spirit are within me now.
The love and light of Spirit are within me now.
I share it everywhere I go.
I share it everywhere I go.
For I am it.
For I am it.
And so it is.
So